All right, folks, welcome in. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. We have had a wild day it's a wild day to be a Rams fan. Alaric Jackson is coming back to the Rams. This has been confirmed by multiple reports, Jordan Schultz being the first. According to sources, Alaric Jackson and the Rams have agreed to a 3-year, $57 million deal with $35 million guaranteed, keeping him in Los Angeles to protect Matthew Stafford. Jackson, who was the top free agent in a few weeks, or set to be a top free agent in a few weeks, will now remain with the Rams as they lock in the 26-year-old former undrafted free agent. So a lot to unpack here. What does this ultimately mean for the Rams? Does this change their draft status? All of this. Before we dive into that, just want to remind you guys, if you like this channel, you like what you're seeing, you like what you're reading, you like what you're hearing, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to go and tell someone, okay? The Rams are batting 100 or batting 1,000, not 100. Batting 1,000. They have nailed it. They got Matthew Stafford back. They now have Alaric Jackson back. And man, things in Ramland are starting to look fun again, right? For a while, it was kind of like, The Rams aren't a team that like to go with the flow. They're not the team that likes to have the backup plans, the plan B or the plan C or the plan D. But it sure sounded like this team was becoming a plan B, C, or D team, at least in 2025. The potential of losing Matthew Stafford put them in that position. The potential of signing Aaron Rodgers put them in that position. The potential of them using Jimmy Garoppolo as the starting quarterback put them in that position. However, never fear, because Les Snead, Sean McVay, and the Rams are here. Not only is Matthew Stafford coming back for the Rams, but Alaric Jackson is as well. And by the way, Alaric Jackson, don't think for a second Alaric Jackson isn't the best offensive tackle who was set to be a free agent. The Rams absolutely had to do this. And, we can talk about it. We could talk about this right now. I mean, look, if we're doing the math, he's just under $20 million a year, okay? The assumption is that he would be up there. So they didn't get I won't say they got a bargain on him. It's not like they stole him. I will say this. I feel really good for Alaric Jackson. This is a guy that was once a first-round talent, was in mock drafts as a first-round talent at Iowa, and then all of a sudden he falls and he falls and he falls in the draft, ends up going undrafted, and now here he is, some of the guys that were drafted ahead of him, and now look at him making all this money, right? Good for him. He gets that contract. Keep in mind, last year, paid his dues. This is a guy that was basically playing, restricted free agency, playing under $9 million, nothing crazy for him, not any sort of flexibility, only a 1-year deal. And now he goes and he gets himself some, not some flexibility, some stability. And he gets himself some stability here at 3 years. So now you're talking about this guy being with the Rams until he's 29, 30 years old. That's a really good thing. Now, going back and, looking at Alaric Jackson and, what he ultimately means to the Rams, he is an athletic player, tackle that has, really developed and has come through the Rams ranking there. But this is a big deal because this shows that, one, he was waiting for Stafford. He wasn't going to commit without Stafford. But it shows the Rams, 2 for 2. They've brought back 2 of their guys. This doesn't always happen. I know they did it with Kevin Dotson last year. This is very much like Kevin Dotson. Keep in mind, Alaric Jackson will be 27 in July. He was by far the best tackle in the market. The only one that you could even tell me was close would be Ronnie Stanley, but he's up there in age. I think he's 31, 32 years old. So I would take Alaric Jackson, plus the injury concerns with Ronnie Stanley. But give Alaric Jackson his props. This is a guy that was undrafted in 2021. He was a second-round pick in the CFL draft. There wasn't a guarantee he'd ever play in the NFL. and he ends up being one of the undrafted rookie free agents. And by all accounts, looking at the notable undrafted rookie free agents, he's by far the best of the bunch for that season. So, of course, you look at the draft in 2021, and I'm going to put in tackles here. And let's take a look at the tackles that were drafted ahead of Alaric Jackson. Let's take a look here. So let's see here. We got, good old wiki up. We're going to take a gander. There I am. Don't know why I'm so... Yeah, there we go. All right. So as you can see here, we'll probably move my face over here. All right. As you can see here, folks, you got Penei Sewell. Okay, he's not better than Penei Sewell, to be fair. You got Rashawn Slater. He's had some issues injury-wise. Probably not better than Rashawn Slater. Then you have Alex Leatherwood. He passes 17th overall pick, Alex Leatherwood, easily. Christian Darrisaw, I would take Darrisaw. Then you got Tevin Jenkins, who moved to guard, so not even the same. Eichenberg, would take him over Eichenberg, would take him over Walker Little, would take him over Jackson Carman easily, would take him over Cosme, although Cosme is a good player. Dylan Ray Dunes, I'd take him over Dylan Ray Dunes. Jalen Mayfield easily. Brady Christensen, I'd take him over him as well. Let's take a look here. Spencer Brown, yeah, I'll take Alaric Jackson. I'll take him over Robert Hainsey. And now we are in the 4th round, take him over James Hudson. I will take him over Dan Moore, who started quite a bunch of games for the Steelers. I think he's better than Dan Moore. Josh Ball, yeah, I'll take Alaric Jackson. I'll take him over Deontay Smith. I'll take him over Larry Borum. I'll take him over Brendan James, Tommy Doyle. Who else? Let's see. Anybody else here? Okay, Will Sherman. Yeah, I'll take Alaric over Landon Young, Stone Forsythe pretty easily. There's Trey Smith, who just got the tag there. So, that's interesting. Larnell Coleman. Yeah, I'll take Alaric Jackson over him. And yeah, Fiend. End of story. Do you see now why this is such a big deal? That was an example. That goes to show you who he is. That goes to show you why they did what they did and the type of player he has become. Alaric Jackson is one of the best players from his draft in 2021. It's not even an argument. I just showed you all those players. No knock on them. Some of them haven't gone to the right location. Some of them haven't been utilized, all of that. But say what you will, you might have had your eyes on, a guy in the offensive line, in the draft, and fine, you might think Alaric Jackson lacks this and lacks that. But when push comes to shove, he is a great fit for the Rams offense. Now, going into the NFL season in 2025, you have, think about this, Stafford on lock, Kyron on lock. You got your Puka Nacua, Jordan Whittington combination. You're going to add some receivers. You got Tyler Higbee on lock. You got Davis Allen on lock. You're going to add another tight end. Now you locked up your left tackle. You got your left guard in Avila. You got your center in Bo Limmer, who's going to get better. You got your right guard in Kevin Dotson, who's locked in. And you got Rob Havenstein for another year, which allows you the flexibility to go out and either pay somebody, somebody like a Jedrick Wills that you can develop and have him take over as the right tackle potentially. Or you could just be like, screw it. We're going to just draft somebody. We're going to draft a tackle, like a Josh Simmons or a Connerly from Oregon, who I don't really know fits their archetype, but still, you could draft a guy like that. And then he's your 6th man this year, like the no boom type of player. And then you let him, fill in next year. He takes over for Havenstein. That's the beauty of it. So the good news is the Rams don't have a ton of needs. They took care of left tackle and quarterback, the 2 most important positions on the offense. Okay. So now that they've done that, they can look to potentially add, via the draft, via free agency, via the trade market. We were talking a lot about it. What does it look like in free agency right now? I think now there's some understanding of what a team is bringing to the table in the LA Rams, but also what a player is going to be seeing with this LA Rams team. I think that's a big thing here. Now you have players that know what they're signing up for. And to me, that's an important aspect of this whole thing. When you go out and you sign Alec Jackson and you bring back Matthew Stafford and you plant your flag as a team that is going to be one of the top contenders this year, has Sean McVay, has a returning coaching staff, has one of the better running backs in football in Kyren Williams, has an absolute superstar in Puka Nacua. This is what I'm talking about here, is that when you do this and you plant that flag and you let everybody know that you're a contender and you're a force to be reckoned with and you have unfinished business, well, guess who wants to come and play for you? Everybody. Now, obviously, the Rams have some different confines, of course, being that they're in California. No offense to California, but last time I checked, they don't have the state income tax, right? There are some states that have that. And so those teams do have an advantage in free agency because they don't have state income tax, meaning somebody that goes there isn't going to be, that contract is going to be worth exactly what it is, as opposed to if you go to the Rams or you go to the 49ers, whoever on, in those states that have that state income tax, it's going to cost a little bit more, right? So that's the thing. So let me make this very clear. Today has been a great day. I might be stressed out. I might have wished things were a little bit more clear and maybe it didn't get to this point and all that. But man, I'm stoked about today. I mean, I just did the first Downtown Lakers episode with Ethan. I thought we did a nice job. Really excited about that channel. And then now with this and everything going on here, it's just, man, I'm so glad today worked out the way it did. Far from a Friday the 13th. This has not been a horror movie. This has not been a horror show. This has been pretty big. So, I would say this. I really feel like this is the best case scenario for the Rams. Now, what's next? I mean, let's look. What's next? What do they do now? Now that they got this stuff taken care of, what do they do now? Well, let's look at it together. Let's look at it together. So we look at over the cap, for instance, right? So we'll do this real quick here. All right. I don't know why my screen is so okay. Here we go. Sorry, not the most professional, but is what it is. Okay. As you can see here, Alaric has not been filled in, but he has to me. So he's done. Matthew Stafford's already taken care of. So here are your guys. Joseph Noteboom will not be back, I don't think. Demarcus Robinson, maybe. This is the interesting thing. You brought back Matthew Stafford. You brought back Alaric Jackson. Alaric Jackson fits any timeline. The guy's 26 years old. He is one of the better available left tackles that you're going to find in the next 3 years. Okay. Yes, he makes sense for any timeline. He makes sense for win now. He makes sense for the next quarterback of the future. That is why it's a 3-year deal and not just a 1 or 2 year deal. So Alaric Jackson is a great pickup for here and for the here and now and for later. Noteboom won't be back, but this right here is intriguing to me. There's a lot of love in that organization for Demarcus Robinson. Do they bring him back? How does that work? I don't think it's a guarantee they bring him back, but I don't think it's guaranteed they don't. And that's the thing here. Now, this is a guy that's played for some pretty good teams. Every single season he's been in the league, well, he's found himself in the playoffs. Would I bring him back? Personally, I would look to get more of an upgrade, but I wouldn't be surprised. Garoppolo, to me, feels like he's returning. They love Garoppolo. Garoppolo has mutual interest, really liked his time with the Rams. I don't see that ending, so I think Garoppolo will back up Stafford. Will they draft a quarterback in 2025, or will they look to 2026? That remains to be seen. I think it's really depending on how the board goes down. I don't think the Rams are going to compete against themselves. If they really like, for instance, a quarterback like, I don't know, Jackson Dart or Dylan Gabriel, whatever. If they really like a player like that, or I know they met with Ewers. If they really like Ewers, for instance, they aren't going to go out of their way to go and get Ewers and bid against themselves. They still have holes to fill, and they still have places they can go on this roster to upgrade. So they're not just going to be like, oh, yeah, Quinn Ewers is a guy we really like, so we're just going to give up the 26th overall pick for him. No, that's not how it will go down. If there's a run on quarterbacks, I don't expect them to just take a quarterback because there's a run on quarterbacks. I think they really want their guy. So I could see a developmental guy. I could see them maybe trading, for somebody, maybe signing. Now, I think Zach Wilson is very much in play here. I think Garoppolo will be the backup, but I think maybe you sign Zach Wilson if he agrees to it. He comes here. I think Zach Wilson's in play. I think Trey Lance is in play. I think some of those guys are in play. Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, all those guys. Now that Stafford's back with Rodgers, I felt like it was more like a guarantee. Like you need Garoppolo because you need a established backup. But I think it does change some things now. So with that said, you got Garoppolo, who I think will be back with the team. Alaric is back. Noteboom will be gone. Demarcus Robinson is 50-50. Hoyt, haven't heard anything on him. My guess is he's probably back, but I don't know for sure. This could go either way. He could get paid out the wazoo to be a starter. I mean, rightfully so. The guy is worth definitely paying, so we're going to see on that. I don't think Tutu Atwell is on the table. I think he wants to leave. It just doesn't. Right there, I mean, we've already had reports. I think it was Sarah Barshop that reported that it's unlikely he'd be back or it's likely he'd leave. I don't see why you'd want to stay. I know what they're building. I know what they're doing. But at some point or another, you got to let the guy cook, and they just simply don't do that. So I think Atwell's going to go. And, where does he go? I don't know. But I could see him going to the Chiefs. I could see him going to the Bills. He could go to a contender, stretch the field, do a nice job. I think he's gone, sadly. I'd love him back. Christian Roseboom, I kind of feel like he'll be back if the market's kind of dry for him. It's a good linebacker class, so I could see him not getting the money he wants and then returning. Won't rule him out. Would probably say 50-50. John Johnson, 50-50. I think if he wants to return and the Rams want him to return, I mean, obviously it's there. At this point in his career, I think he wants to stay with the Rams. The question is, do the Rams want to add another safety? Do they like where they're at? I don't know. I'd say 50-50. Hunter Long, same thing. Do they want to bring back Hunter Long? Good blocker, maybe not as good a pass catcher. They relied on him down the stretch, and he didn't really pan out in the way that they were hoping for, but he's a good special teamer. I don't know. I'd say probably 50-50. Akello Witherspoon. My understanding on Akello is this. The Rams like him. They want him back, but I don't necessarily believe that he's going to get paid out like crazy. Okay, so if a team is willing to pay him, he has been playing on a team-friendly deal tenfold. Okay, we're talking about a guy that played on the veteran minimum 2 years in a row, and he started over 30 games for this team. I don't believe, or played over 30, I don't believe Akello, if he gets a decent amount of money from the Rams, I don't believe he leaves. But if he gets paid like a ton by another team, I do think he leaves. Right now, I'd put it 60-40. Akello returns, but we'll see what happens. I know that there's mutual interest there, but again, we'll see what happens there. Connor McDermott, I don't even know. I mean, didn't really get a chance to play at all because he was on IR the whole year. I wouldn't rule out bringing him back on the cheap, but I don't know. Larrell Murchison would like him back. I think the Rams like him a lot. It depends on money. If a team wants to give him more than they want, then I could see them moving on. I like Larrell. We'll see where that goes. Tyler Johnson. Rams like him. Tyler Johnson likes the Rams, but does he want more playing time? Can he find more playing time? Can he get more money? That's the question. That remains kind of 50-50. Troy Reeder, I wouldn't rule out him returning. Really well-liked in the organization. But he's getting up there in age. Do you bring him back on the cheap? Will he come back on the cheap? Can he find a better deal? I think that's really the question. Would not rule out Troy Reeder returning, but also wouldn't be like, yeah, Troy Reeder's definitely returning. Neville Gallimore was probably gone, and then the way he played in that postseason, I think the Rams are going to be hard-pressed to at least try and bring him back on a cheap deal. We'll see what ends up happening. I think he's going to have suitors. I do think there's a team in that division, the 49ers, cough, that would have a lot of interest in what he brings to the table. Bobby Brown III, I think, the Rams would love him back. What does his market look like? I think to me, he's a huge, huge option, but there's also a lot of depth in this draft in interior defensive line, especially being nose tackles. So I think that it really comes down to you can replace him in the draft with a body, but knowing what you know with Bobby Brown, knowing that he's the youngest interior defensive lineman on the market, do you just bring him back? How does that work? We're going to find out. Obviously, March is right around the corner, as in this is the last day of February. Crazy how time flies. I would say Bobby Brown is probably 50-50, leaning more towards he leaves, but I hope he's back. Love the guy. Obviously, friends with him. He's been on my show. We'll see how it goes. Ronnie Rivers, it depends. He's a restricted free agent. Could be back pretty easily. Maybe he's gone. I don't know. I'm going to say he's probably gone, but we'll see. Jake Hummel, restricted free agent. I'd be shocked if he left. They like him. Could get more of an extended role this year. We'll see, but I don't see it. And then exclusive rights free agent Dylan McMahon, who was a 5th-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles this past draft. No chance they move on from him. It's such an easy thing when you have an exclusive rights free agent. He's not really a free agent. It's such an easy thing to bring these guys back. It's designed to be that way. So I think Dylan McMahon will return. And that's how I see free agency going for the Rams based on who's on their team. Obviously, a lot of 50-50 calls. Some guys I see leaving, some guys I see maybe not leaving. Yeah, things are going to have to, kind of situate itself. But this is what we know. Like, these are the guys that are remaining. Alec Jackson, of course, take him out of the equation. But now things start to get interesting, and, now you have the framework of what you want your offense to look like. Big key, having your quarterback, having your left tackle. They have both of them. I feel good about that. Everyone should feel good about that. We'll see where they go from there. But yeah, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for Alaric Jackson. This is a big deal for the Rams. This is a 3-year deal. Will he protect Matthew Stafford all 3 of those years? Will it be 2? Will it be 1? I don't know. Personally, I think we're waiting to hear the details from the Stafford trade Stafford signing. We don't know. It was a restructured deal. We don't know what the details are. We don't know how long this is going to be. It's really that simple. I mean, the hope is that, he signs a 2-year deal. That's the hope, because by all accounts, everywhere he was going was going to be a 2-year deal. So I'd love him back on 2 years. But if this is one of those things where it's another 1 year, oh yeah, we'll just revisit it next offseason. I don't think you want to go through this again, because I don't like your chances of figuring it out if this happens a second time. So look, I think right now, based on everything that has happened, the Rams are in a great spot. We're going to see how things shake out. We're going to see if they can bring back certain guys and not bring back certain guys, who they want, who they don't want, who they want to draft, who they want to sign. But unfortunately, until we know the actual cap numbers, we don't really know much. I mean, based on the Rams cap space currently, they have $41 million in effective cap space, but we have no idea what the Stafford contract looks like. We don't know what the cap number is going to be. We also don't know what the cap number is going to be for Alaric Jackson. That right there matters, okay? We also don't know how much they're going to save with Cooper Kupp. We don't know how much they're eating. We don't know if they want the pick. There's a lot of different things that were being thrown out there. We don't know if they're going to bring back Darius Williams or cut him. So, there's still plenty of things that need to be ironed out. And then, and obviously this will be done within, the week or two. And then free agency is right around the corner, about 10 days from now or whatever it really picks up. So, yeah, we're going to find out sooner than later. But by all means, this has been a good day. This has been a good news day. Don't always get those. You don't always get those. And so when you do, you feel good about it and you celebrate it. Shout out to Deontay Smith for the 5. With Stafford and AJ, who do we select with the first pick? Trade up to for Tyler Warren, ? I mean, I'll tell you this right now. getting Alaric back, what I heard is that they want a pass catcher in the first round. Things can change, but what I heard is that they want a pass catcher, tight end, wide receiver, whatever. I think they get two. I think they get a wide receiver and they get a tight end in this draft. Is that Ibuka? Is that, Golden? I don't know what that looks like. We'll be talking about all of them individually on this channel, so no worries. But for your super chat, Deontay Smith, who do we select with the first pick? My money right now, if I had to choose anybody, my money is on Ibuka because I think he fits what the Rams look for in wide receivers. He's almost a carbon copy of Robert Woods, but I also think he adds more, and that's why he's a first-round talent. I think Emeka Ibuka would be my money call here. I think my secondary play would be Colston Loveland, but I actually think they're really going to like, and they're going to wait, but they're really going to like Harold Fannin Jr. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but that's my take on that. Drew, thank you for the 20. Hey, Jake, sorry that we didn't get your boy Rogers. JK, nothing but love, brother. Hopefully Stafford's at least a 2-year deal. Yep. Unless he retires, he has at least 3 to 4 years left in the tank. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think Stafford has plenty of time left. I do. So, thank you again. I appreciate the 20 there. I definitely agree. I think he has more than 2 years. I definitely want it to be a 2-year deal. We're aligned on that. I'm sure we'll find out sooner than later, but as of right now, we have no idea. Today was a good day. Yes, it was. All right. Ruiz, thank you for the 2. Do we know what Stafford contract is? No idea, unfortunately. Yes, Ibuka. Yes, I would love Ibuka. I think he fits well with what they're trying to do and what they have done, the way they've operated wide receiver, but stranger things have happened. I also could see Trey Harris being an option. I just think the injuries are a little bit of a concern there, but I could definitely see Trey Harris being the option there. We'll see how they view things. Are they going to go more 11 personnel or 12 personnel? I think that's a big answer. That's a big answer to the question. And if they go, heavy 12 personnel, then expect them to go after a tight end early on. If they want to go heavy 11, well, then I expect them to go wide receiver early on. We'll see. I just that's the thing. It really depends on that. So anyway, not a super long live stream. Just wanted to go live, say, hey, what's up? Also drop this news. Big shout out to Jordan Schultz. He's been getting a lot of hate lately. I like both reporters, so I'm not taking a side. But I know Jordan. I got to meet Jordan personally. And I would just say that, Jordan and Ian are both 2 of the best reporters in the business. I have no issue with either of them, but I wanted to give Jordan some credit since he is the first one to report this on Alaric Jackson. So, and I do want to also give credit to one of the only guys to ever give me credit for posting something, which I'm going to make sure I have that. I want to make sure I have his name right. Jeremy Fowler. Because Jeremy Fowler is one of the only people that gave me credit for reporting Ahkello Witherspoon signing with the Rams. One of the only people that gave me credit for reporting John Johnson signing with the Rams. So yeah, it's I give Jeremy Fowler some credit. But anyway, that's going to do it. I like where the Rams are standing right now. I have more clarity about their offseason. Really feels like, and I'm sure I wasn't in the room, but I'm sure Sean McVay told Matthew Stafford straight up, we got unfinished business. You don't want to end it the way we ended it. And, next time, go to the Super Bowl. To me, I think Stafford deserves a lot of credit. It's hard to swallow pride. I don't think the Rams, he's taking less money to go back to the Rams, which he said he would do. But I still believe that, or what I reported he would do. But I still believe that, Stafford deserves credit here because he was getting a lot of smack for wanting money when in reality, he has been one of the underpaid quarterbacks in this league. And I'm glad he's back, but like I said, I think he deserves credit because that was not easy. And being asked to take less money, that was, yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Alaric Jackson is remaining a Ram and will be a Ram for the next 3 years. And that's a great thing. So Matthew Stafford, Alaric Jackson, let's keep this train rolling. And I'll keep you guys informed over here on the Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe on your way out if you haven't already. Be sure to slam that like button and share it around. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, folks.